Welcome to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark. If you're a returnee, welcome back. If you're new to the channel and just subscribed, please comment below. I'd love to meet new noses on the channel. Today we are doing Test Drive Thursdays, where I test drive a fragrance for several days. It is going to be on the House of Zegna. And it is a fig-based scent called Zegna Milan, which is right in front of me. There's a trifecta of scents under this line called New York, Milan, and Shanghai. And every single one of them have only 3 notes listed. So it was kind of a gimmick that they did. I don't think it worked well for the brand as it was discontinued not shortly after. This bottle was sent to me back in 2019 by Chad from the YouTube channel Gentleman's Journey, fellow Canadian, and he's definitely an amazing friend and reviewer. So merci beaucoup, Chad. I'll link his channel down below if you don't know about Chad. I don't know who doesn't. Milan was a scent that he gave to me with 2 others at that time. And I completed an unboxing of all 3 fragrances, and this one was actually the one that impressed me the most off an initial sniff. Today, I have some time with it, I've worn it, and I'm gonna give you a much more robust video on this release. So let's get started. Let's go under the hood on Milan here. Release date was back in 2016. The nose behind this is Trudy Lauren. Major notes to my nose. This is a fig-based fragrance, and we all know that I love my fig-based fragrances, but I own at least over a dozen now. So we'll see how this one stands up against some of the best in the game. It is backed by sandalwood, which is a big note in this fragrance, and also clary sage. So the 3 notes that I listed as major facets in this release are actually the 3 notes that are listed by the brand. And honestly, and usually that's a marketing ploy, but really in this scent, there's nothing much more in this scent from my nose. The notes do have different characteristics to them. Not all sandalwoods are made alike, clary sage, and also fig. So I'm gonna delve into that during this video to let you know what I'm getting. So I am wearing it as my scent of the day today, but I want to remind myself of this introduction from Zegna Milan. And ooh, nice fig opening. The opening of Milan tells me immediately this is a fig-based scent. There's no jokes around it. It is your central theme. It is very much not touched upon by the other notes. It really wants to give it the spotlight. So it is a fig-based scent with not much moving parts to it. I've always enjoyed a good fig-based fragrance as a note because it's refreshing, it's unique, instead of just another citrus for summer. I really like figs. Now, depending on the fig utilized or the note utilized here, it can give you several factors. Many noses utilize the leafy fig instead of the fruit to give the user a watery, transparent green thing. Here in Milan, it's more about the fruit, which is actually quite unique. It makes this one have a little more depth than a usual figgy, thin fig leaf based scent. It's fruity, it's green. It does have a little woody aspects to the fragrance. It's sweet. It's actually quite beautiful for a cheapie. The note here, the fig note here is absolutely stunning. It shows a little bit of a coconutty aspect here, which figs do. You know, a lot of great fig-based fragrances that give you that tropical feel. Here it does a little bit. It gives you a little bit of that tropical coconutty. It's not full-blown tropical coconutty like a lot of other figs do, but it shows just enough to give the scent an excellent extra factor to it. It really is well done. Sandalwood and clary sage, of course, the secondaries here, both join the party very much early in this introduction, which doesn't give the user much of a surprise later on in the scent. I mean, it really is very much linear as a scent. There's not much going on here. The sandalwood here gives a very minor woody backbone. Again, very minor in this release with its familiar creamy aspects, which pairs very well with, of course, a fig note. And at times this fragrance brings you to that coconutty, milky figgy portion because of the sandalwood and the fig going together. It's always great to see that. It's great in a cooler summer night or a spring day, just because that milky aspect. I feel like in the heat, in the dead heat, especially when it's humid, you don't really want that here. Great for a summer night, spring day. Now let's move on to the Clary Sage, which I feel is the X factor in this release and gives the scent a little edge. It gives its familiar herbal green tendencies, but also depending on your nose, it may bother you with its musky tones, its powdery ambry accord. I felt the Clary Sage was an excellent addition and gives the scent several different aspects that helps the overall scent. Milan starts off fruity, sweet, aromatic, little balsamic, green, coconutty, powdery, and the opening, even though rather thin, has excellent balance and the notes dance well together. They all mesh well into Zizegna, of course, Milan. Now going into the dry down of this fragrance, and like I said, this thing is very much linear. So I don't have anything really to add, to be quite honest with all of you. As I said earlier, the scent is thin. There's no development at all, basically. The fig surprisingly continues to throw itself to my nose, which usually is an early note to leave a scent, but it actually does well in this release. The sandalwood climbs into a primary note more into this dry down after the fig takes more of a backseat role. I did smell a little cedar here, a little pencil shaving aspect, and that could be from other woods, but the creaminess of the sandalwood works well with it. But honestly, this woody aspect is so light that it's almost hardly worth a mention. The Clary Sage's herbal components and powdery aspects, that ambery glow still goes strong here, sharing the secondary position with the fig now instead of with the sandalwood. A little musky backbone ends this one. Transition, wasn't much to it, but it was flawless as the notes really danced around each other a bit and there were just little moving parts, a little shuffle game. I recall Chad mentioning that this was an online bargain at under $50 Canadian, might even be cheaper than that. That's definitely a no-brainer for the quality of scent that I'm smelling here with this release. Now let's get into seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Let's start this one off with seasons, spring and summer. I feel more spring, geared more for spring than summer, to be quite honest with you. Day or night, and that's where that goes, is day or night. Summer nights, I feel like this would work well. I feel like, like a breezy summer day, like a little cooler summer day. That's why I feel like it's more geared during spring. I feel that little bit of that cooler weather, a little bit of, maybe an overcast day, this would work so well. Versatility is very high, through the roof. There's not much to it, so you can wear it almost in any setting. Fig can be dressed up too. It's one of those things, citruses too, but the backing of this, there's nothing crazy here that I feel like you can dress it up, dress it down, doesn't matter day or night. Performance. Performance is of course a killer for these type of fragrances. It's a fresh fragrance, so that is something that you want to look at. Longevity is 5 to 7 hours, which no problems here. It's actually pretty decent for this kind of scent. Projection was below average, so it's one of those things that will die down after a few hours. After you hit hour 2, it kind of starts going more skin. So my final thoughts on Zizegna Milan is that it's a very simple, straightforward, fig-based scent that is actually well balanced, well constructed, and will impress if you can find it in the bargain bins. That's a big if, I think, at this in, of course, 2023. It's light enough for a summer night, but has a little bit of heft to it to wear during a cooler spring day. I like that the fig and sandalwood together, they really just work really well together. They pair well together. You can dress it up or casually. Sandalwood has a little bit of that class to it, I feel, and fig is so versatile as a note that you can dress it up or dress it down. These were limited edition releases, and I would assume that they never really sold really well for the brand. They hit discounters a few years back, so now it may be really quite hard to find, which could be a drawback on trying to find this one. In the fig game, that is getting more and more crowded over the years. This one isn't a huge loss to the fragrance industry, but when it was at discounters, it was well worth the purchase in my opinion. There are better figs out there, of course, yes there is, but this was very solid. So thank you, Chad. I got my nose on this one and I really do like this. So now I'm done with Zigzagna Milan. Time for you to hit us up in the comments below. What do you think of it? Have you smelt this fragrance, or now it's kind of a little too late? Too little too late. So I look forward to reading all the different type of comments on this particular release. And as always, a Greater Port fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your fig-based fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.